Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Meet the Franchisor webinar. My name is Paige Nickel. I'm with FranNet Southern California. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. I've been doing these Meet the Franchisor workshops for about 25 years now, and this is one of my first times doing it virtually. I almost always do it live. So it's a little bit of an experiment, but I think you're really going to enjoy it. And if there are any little hiccups along the way, technology-wise, my apologies. First, let me tell you that we are going to be recording this. So everyone will get a copy of this emailed to them so they could take a look at it. But what I want to do first is just go quickly over our agenda before I introduce our first speaker. We're going to start off and have a brief presentation about franchise ownership, who FranNet is, what we do, how we help people. And then very importantly for today's meeting is, let's talk a little bit about COVID-19 and how that's actually creating opportunities in the franchising world. Then we're going to delve into some franchise presentations. They're going to be relatively short. The idea is to really just let you know a little bit more about them being an essential service, them being recession resistant, and companies that FranNet has worked with, some up to as many as 30 years. Then we're going to have a segment on financing. For those of you starting to think about, hey, maybe I want to start my own business, but how do I pay for it? We're going to do that. And then we're going to close things out with a Q&A period. Since everyone's on mute, what we are going to ask, though, is that you through the chat at the bottom of your Zoom screen, send your questions in. And then when everyone's done presenting, I will go ahead and field the questions and send them to the appropriate person. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is turn the meeting over to Emily Anderson from FranNet and let her share a little bit with you about franchising. Go ahead, Emily.
Hey everybody, good morning. It's great to be with you today. So my name is Emily Anderson and I'm the Director of Business Development here at FranNet, serving primarily the West Coast. So first, congratulations on being here. And I say that because I come across a lot of people that say, oh, I'd love to own my own business. And that's about as far as they get. So frankly, the fact that you are taking some time and energy, which I believe will be really well spent today on getting this information. So first of all, kudos to you. And I would really like to acknowledge Paige Nickel, Roxanne Rapsky, and Craig Wells. I've worked with these individuals for about 7 years now. And guys, I don't mean to embarrass you, but I truly think Paige, Craig, and Roxanne are the best of the best. As a matter of fact, you guys, this morning in my head, Paige, you just said you've been doing these events for about 25 years. In my head, I was estimating the number of years of experience the three of you have and adding that together. Now, I'm not going to share that number because I don't want to embarrass you, but I will say that Paige, Roxanne, and Craig have probably worn just about every hat that there is in franchising. They are known for being phenomenal professionals and having the utmost integrity. So you are in excellent hands. Also, they know your market. And I was just sharing with some people before we got started. So here I'm serving the West Coast. I'm actually here in Oregon, but I spent about half my life in California. And having someone that knows your local market, the nuances of an area that is so diverse and exciting as Southern California is really important. So a couple of things about FranNet. So I've been guessing most of you on today are familiar with FranNet, but I do want to just provide a quick overview for those of you that are not. And here, I'm going to give you just a little something to look at here. But FranNet, we've been around for over 30 years. And a couple of things that we do is, one, we provide you people that are interested in business ownership and entrepreneurship. We are here to provide you with information and choices. We're here to put you in the driver's seat of research and deciding what platform makes the most sense for you in the long term. So FranNet, Roxanne, Paige, Craig, myself, we don't know if business ownership makes sense for you. And we're not trying to convince you of anything. What we believe is providing transparency, information, choices, and really advocating for you. So whatever decision you decide, it's based on fact and information and thorough due diligence. We're not here to help you make decisions based on emotions or misperceptions. Nobody thinks they make business decisions based on emotions or misperceptions. We're just here to make sure that that doesn't happen. So we're here to really advocate for you. And on the other hand, we also really support our franchise partners, some of whom are going to be presenting today. So any franchise brand that we introduce you to, I want you to know has been thoroughly screened by our parent company. We actually decline 5 out of every 6 franchise brands that approach us, asking us to support their development. So I want you to know that we currently work with about 200 brands. Realistically speaking, we've got a handful of brands today. I'm not here to say you're going to find like the perfect business for you. Might happen, it might not. If it doesn't happen today, know that we've got lots of other options. Again, the idea here is to lift the veil for you to see, okay, so FranNet says that they don't deal with the golden arches. We do not sling the $5 foot long. Well, what kind of businesses do we work with? Well, that's what we're going to show you here today. And again, there's no charge. So I know for me, I'm a very trusting person, unless I feel like somebody's trying to sell me something. And then I can't help it. I just get really skeptical. So know that we're not here to sell you anything. We're not here to convince you of anything. We're helping to arm you with the facts. So COVID-19, not to sound insensitive, but this is not our first rodeo. And when I say that is we have helped thousands and thousands of people safely enter business ownership during very uncertain times. So we've seen the dot-com bust. We saw what happened in 9/11. We saw the Great Recession. Now it's COVID-19. Now, what I want you to know is what we have seen during past uncertain times and what we're already seeing again today is that entrepreneurs, and especially first-time entrepreneurs, really start to focus in on businesses with specific characteristics. Recession-resistant industries, low cost, low overhead, service-based businesses. So this is where the focus tends to start to be during these uncertain times. And we've got a handful of brands with just these characteristics that we are going to introduce you to today. So how to use this time. And I'm not talking about, sure, how to use the next 2 hours, but I'm talking about how to use the next few weeks or few months. I spoke with Paige briefly this morning. I said, gosh, Paige, I'm thinking about some of the people that are going to be joining us today. And I'm guessing these are a lot of high performing professionals that got laid off. So whether you want to continue with a job search, or you just want to do business ownership, or you're keeping both options open, here's how you might use this time, and here's how we see other people using this time. Well, frankly, we've got some clients that have already been in research mode that are absolutely hitting the brakes, that are saying, whoa, now is not the time. I'm too afraid. There's too many unknowns. And the truth is we get it. We get it. We understand. We've never seen anything like COVID-19. Frankly, I am surprised by how few clients are actually hitting the brakes. I personally have only had one, but I'm here to just let you know, these are how some people are using this time. What most people are doing, not only here on the West Coast, but across the country, is they're just kind of slowing down. I'm going to call this tapping the brakes. I still want to research business options. I'm still going to conduct thorough due diligence. I'm not going to prepare to open my business until I have a little bit more clarity around the COVID situation. So that might look like we now are seeing a plan for reopening businesses and our communities. We now have a little bit more clarity on financing, So what I invite you to do, since so many people are falling into this bucket, is I invite you to consider, if you identify with this bucket, what does clarity around the COVID situation look like for you? If it looks like, okay, we need a game plan for our communities to reopen, okay, that's reasonable. If clarity for you means we need to be 12 months on the other side of implementing the COVID vaccine, you probably don't want to start your research just yet, just out of respect for your time and energy, okay? Because that's going to be further down the line than what we're seeing. And then also we have some clients that are moving full speed ahead. And these are the people that are saying interest rates are lower than they've been in years. Now's the time to take advantage of it. I anticipate a lot of vacancies coming available. I want to be able to pull the trigger on those vacancies and the best deal as soon as it becomes available. I want my business doors to be open to serve the pent-up demand for hair care, for fitness, for whatever it is that you see. And I'm moving ahead full speed right now because I think there's a huge economic opportunity on the other side of this, and I'm going to be ready to catch it. Now, none of these are right, wrong, good, or bad. I just want to show you these so that you can take a look and ask yourself, okay, which of these buckets might I fall into, and how can I use this time accordingly? And I just want to remind you that researching for an opportunity is not the same thing as committing to an actual purchase. As a matter of fact, the research can take, on average, I would say 2 to 4 months. So if you know that you would like to have a business decision made in 4 months, you can start pacing your research accordingly. Paige, Craig, or Roxanne can help you with that. And if you know you don't want to have your decision made for 6 months, again, we'll just pace it accordingly. So I told you about those businesses with specific characteristics that are very common during an economic downturn. Now, frankly, I would be remiss if I didn't share this with you, because up until 30 days ago, if anyone had asked me, you know, what's the hot thing in franchising today, I would have said semi-absentee ownership. Now, this got really quiet about 30 days ago, but I do want to introduce you to this idea because I think there's a very good chance it's going to come back just as quickly as it went away. So semi-absentee ownership is a popular method for those people who want to either keep their full-time job or might want to acquire another full-time job if you're currently laid off. This allows you to create an additional revenue stream while keeping your employment options open. Characteristics of a business with a semi-absentee ownership model. These are usually businesses that are location-based, where the daily operations are run by a manager. And you, as the owner, are overseeing it remotely. And it is semi-absentee or semi-passive. It does not require a full-time effort by the owner. It's a great opportunity for multi-generational ownership. If you want to quietly start and invest in a business on the side, maybe involve your adult children, create an additional revenue stream, or frankly, a safety net for the next round of layoffs. Some characteristics. So these are often, as I said, location-based businesses, so they tend to have higher overhead. We are looking at a lease. We are looking at paying a manager, advertising dollars. Examples would be a business in hair care, health and fitness, health and wellness. If you think of the owner of a hair care business, they're not in the business cutting hair. They're usually managing the manager, overseeing the P&L, running it remotely. Usually everything's cloud-based and they're kind of checking in on things, staffing hours, whatnot, the P&L on their phone. Now, this is an example of, with these location-based businesses, they usually take longer to open. We need to find the site selection, lease negotiation, build out. So again, start with the end in mind. When do you want to have your doors open? Because a semi-absentee business, even if you were to find the right business and sign an agreement today, your doors might not be open for 6 to 9 months, okay? So again, semi-absentee ownership options. You can keep your job options open. You're usually managing the business remotely after hours. We do have a business, a semi-absentee ownership model that is going to be presenting today. For those of you who are currently laid off, but you know you would like to secure another salaried position, one way you might want to use this time is site selection, lease negotiation, build out, getting your doors open. Once your business is up and running, then start your full-time salaried position so you'll have multiple revenue streams coming in, okay? So we're about ready to hear from the different franchisors that are going to be real life examples of some of these business characteristics of what I've talked to you about. What I want you to know first and foremost before we get into that is that Paige, Craig, Roxanne, myself, we have your back. And what I mean by that is we are here to completely serve your best interests, whether that means business ownership or not. So we're here to help you access information and make a well-informed decision. One of the best resources that we will be sharing with you after today's event is access to an online personality test. And what that is going to do is provide you, it takes about 30 minutes to complete. It will provide you with a comprehensive 11-page report that any of us will sit down and go through with you. And it's going to help give insights into how your personality and your values best align with owning a business or a franchise. And it will be key in even determining if any of today's models could be a good fit. So with that, Paige, I'm going to give it back to you for you to introduce our first brand presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Emily. Really appreciate that. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to kick things off with some presentations from some of the companies that we represent. And to get us started, I'm going to have Ken Kint from Sign World step in and talk a little bit about the commercial sign industry.
Thank you, Paige, Emily, and Craig and Roxanne. It's nice to be here. Appreciate you all joining us today. My name is Ken Kint. I'm the founder of Sign World 32 years ago. And I'm going to bring up my slideshow. Am I there, Paige? Do you see the slides? Somebody?
I can see him, Ken.
Okay. We're Sign World Business Partners. We're not a franchise, we're a business owners alliance. We're full service sign companies. As I said, we've been in business 32 years. Today, we are an essential service. All of our 350 locations around the United States and Canada are open for business today. We manufacture the signs. We can deliver them. We can install them. We can collect the money, credit card over the phone, and never get close to the customer at all. We are busy these days doing all of the COVID-19 and related types of signage. We charge no royalties. It's a one-time buy-in. We have no rules. Starts with a name. You can name this whatever you want to name it. This is a manufacturing business. You are manufacturing a tangible product from raw materials and giving it to your customer, and you're going to put a label on it, and on that label is going to be your name, whatever name you choose. 98% of all the signs in the world are indoors. When you're driving around looking at signs outdoors, you're only looking at the tiny tip of the iceberg, 2%. The average life of a sign is 30 days. They change every month. In December, they say Christmas. In January, half off. Right now, they all say COVID-19 and related. Hopefully, we're going to see Mother's Day signs and Father's Day signs and so forth. That's where the money is at, is having customers who change their signs every month just to stay in business. You start with yourself and one employee. We will help you find them. We will interview them. We will test them. We'll send them down the street to have another sign world owner evaluate them. And once you hire them, they can go to all of our training programs. As you grow your business, you'll continue to add more employees. This is a one location business. When you outgrow your space, you just move 2 blocks away to double the space. It's business to business. Your customers are all the other businesses in town, no matter how big, no matter how small. Your hours posted on your door are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Your customers do not expect you to be open at night and on the weekends. 80% of your gross annual sales will come from your top 20 customers. Total investment all in, $210. That includes $30,000 of working capital. We've been in business 32 years, and we've never had any form of legal action. We have never, ever been sued by anyone. We have never, ever sued anyone. We've never been to mediation, arbitration, nothing. We're very, very proud of that track record. That has to tell you something about how we take care of our 350 locations. You're going to receive outstanding support, not only from our corporate staff, but our over 340, 350 owners. We're family, we're friends. We work on projects together and split the profits. We share employees, we share supplies. We get together, talk story. We have sign world owners that go on vacation together. You will never, never compete with another owner. So what sets sign world apart? No rules, no royalties, weekly sales training, and if you follow the program, 50 to 90% of your new business can come from your website, from the internet, which means you're not out cold calling. You're not chasing customers. The customers are chasing you. Every day you're going to get phone calls where the person on the other end of the line will say, I need help. I need signs. Can you help me? Owners do not make signs. You'll be taught how to make them. You'll always know how to make them. But your job is to take care of the customer. We are the commercial sign company. We are not these retail sign stores, the poster and banner shops that you see in the strip malls, the shopping centers, and out on the main street. As a sign world owner, as a commercial sign company, you'll be located in the light industrial area, the kind of a building with the giant roll-up garage door. You will have no walk-in traffic, zero. Instead, as the owner, you will go out to see the bigger customer, the bigger project, and you'll be out every day, 2 or 3 appointments. Some of our locations, customers, the biggest and the best. There's a myth out there. People think signs come from headquarters. That's not entirely true. What happens is the artwork comes from headquarters with the specifications and the color codes, and that's sent in an email to all of their various locations around the world. And they in turn just pass that on to their local sign company, which could be you. We have a sign world owner in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, takes care of 14 McDonald's restaurants every single month. Every single month, he does signage for 14 McDonald's. We have sign world owners that work with all of these companies that you see on the screen in front of you. Where do we see signs today that we did not see them when we were kids? Floor graphics are becoming more and more popular. Wall graphics change every week. More wall graphics. LED signs, battery operated. The entire sign is very, very lightweight. You can change the graphic. You can move the sign to a different location in minutes. in-store promotional type signage. We do this kind of work all the time. Trade show signage. Outdoor Post-it note. The bed is a Post-it note. Peel it off, take it to the other side of the building. Outdoor signage, real estate, billboards, 95-foot tall grain silo, more real estate, indoor high quality canvas prints, vehicle wraps. Vehicles today are about 25% of the business. 20 Disneyland buses, they change them every 6 months. Airplanes, no problem. It's a fun business, ladies and gentlemen. Every project is different. Every day is different. Let me figure out how to get out of here.
Just go ahead and stop sharing your screen, Ken, and then we'll have questions at the end.
Trying to get there. Give me a second.
Okay, take your time.
There we go. Can't get to the stop share. Okay, got it. How's that?
That's great. Thank you so much, Ken.
You're
So next up, we're going to have Dan Durney from Assisted Hands Senior Care. Dan, go ahead and present your program.
Mute my audio. There we go. Can you see the screen okay now? Whoop, I can't hear you. How did that happen?
Good. You're good.
Okay, so you can see the screen. Great. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and that was a great initial presentation there, so it's awesome. So we're also an essential business. I wouldn't have thought that something was more recession resistant than hair care until I came across senior care. So definitely our franchisees have been able to continue operating. We've been around for about 13 years. I've won numerous awards, also have no litigation, which is definitely a hallmark for a franchise that's been around 13 years as us, let alone 32 years. It's amazing. So, whoops, let me click over here. There we go. We've been around since franchising since 2007. We're based in Boise, Idaho. We started in Arizona as a company called Care Corner, and then we franchised that about 3 years later. Changed the name from Care Corner because that was not available nationally. And so Assisting Hands is a lot more descriptive of what we do. And it also moved up alphabetically in the referral list from our referral partners. So that worked out as a bonus too. Over 70 offices, 14 area representatives, which we'll talk about briefly. And we're in 23 states. What we do primarily is non-medical. Senior care is part of our business, but we also do post-operative recuperation, women on with high-risk pregnancies on bed rest for a few months, et cetera. One of our hallmarks in our franchise is the offering of flexibility to our franchisees and the types of services. So in addition to non-medical, they can also offer medical staffing, some care management services, and even some medical equipment sales. So good flexibility from that standpoint. In addition to that, we also offer flexibility in the types of payors that they can work with, in addition to private pay, which is the bulk of the business across the system. But you can also work with veterans benefits, insurance, long-term care and disability, and also Medicare Advantage is starting to cover some of these services, and Medicaid in some states, and it varies by state. So those are some other options. And again, we can help as a national support team in getting the franchisees qualified to receive these reimbursements from these various payor sources. This is just a small sampling here of some of the things that we offer, and we won't go through all of these, but there's extensive services that can be provided to both seniors and also people just at home as well. Business model is looking for white collar professional people that are management people. We're not looking for healthcare and nurses per se, although some may have that experience, and that's great, and that may help them with connections, but primarily you're working with healthcare or home care providers, as well as your office staff. There's basically you run from a small office, 700 to 1,000 square feet, so nothing major. Start with 3 people, really 2.5. You have HR, accounting, and sales and marketing. And the sales marketing is more of the community awareness building that goes on in an area where a franchisee can let the referral sources know, which are typically like discharge planners in hospitals and rehab centers and skilled nursing facilities, about the services that are offered by Assisting Hands. We use a lot of technology to, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. We're also very family friendly from working hours standpoint. Yes, we do have clients that have 7x24 care, but you'll have a staff member that's typically monitoring any caregivers that may call out or need to replace or overnight issues. But this is not a semi-absentee type of business. Just to clarify that, we're looking for an owner-operator. Again, no specific healthcare experience required. We have folks come from all kinds of industries. One of our top franchisees came from Honey Baked Hams, which, yes, is a franchise, but not in medical care. Some of our advantages, we're talking about technology. Our caregivers have an app that allows them to be checked in automatically when they arrive based on GPS and scheduling. They can put notes in for the visit that day, which go into a secure, HIPAA compliant, cloud secure application. If the adult parents, adult children of the parents or grandparents have permission, they can go into like a family room area and view what notes were taken for that shift. Sometimes the client doesn't remember how long the caregiver was there or what happened, so that's also helpful for documenting the visit. And then when they when the shift is done, they are clocked out automatically, and then all of that flows into the accounting and payroll, et cetera. So it's a very scalable business because, again, you don't have the clients coming to your office. You're not restricted by physical space limitations because the services are provided out at the homes of the caregivers. Or in some cases, if you're doing staffing, the care is provided in an assisted living facility that the client may have their own caregivers. But it does scale very, very nicely from that standpoint. We are offering single unit, multi-unit, and we're one of the very, very few in senior care that offers an area representative franchise opportunity, which is like a little mini master franchise where you would have a larger territory and be involved in recruiting other franchisees and sharing in the royalties and the franchise fees. And that's a whole overlay of support system for the franchisees in the local market, in addition to our national support team. And the FOFO culture, FOFO stands for Family of Franchise Owners. And we also are very, very family oriented. In fact, our discovery days may involve riding a horse once we can all go back out and travel again, because it's up in Idaho. So the opportunity to meet with the CEO, have dinner at his home. Their son's a roper, top 10 ranked in Idaho, and have a chance to maybe saddle up, which isn't a big deal for people in Texas, but the New Jersey folks like it a lot. Okay, let me click here, come on down. There we go. We have available territories throughout California, Oregon, and Washington, as well as throughout the country. A couple of areas are not franchising, like in New York and Louisiana. Again, no medical experience required, and you really have to have a heart for this business. There are people that have come to us that recognize that, everybody pretty much knows 10,000 people a day turn 65, and 78 million baby boomers, which I'm one of, right near the end of that. The oldest of us isn't even 75 yet. So it's a humongous market, but to go into it just for that reason and not have a heart for the business, a compassion for the people that you're serving and the impact on the lives of the seniors that you have and their families to allow them to stay in their home and their familiar surroundings for as long as possible. You got to really have a heart for the business, is what we look for. And those are some of our area reps and franchisees. This is the investment range between 80,000 and 152. Need to have, this is for a single unit, have a net worth of 300K and about 100K liquid and cover your personal expenses for 12 months. For an area representative, you're typically taking down 4 to 6 million in population as a territory. So that's going to be between 16 and 20 some odd units that you'll be developing. So you need to have a net worth of about 750K and liquid about 300 to 400,000. And we can talk more about that if there's a further interest in that model. 4-phase training, pre-opening assistance. Then there's training in Miami. You might wonder why we have training in Miami when the headquarters is in Idaho. And our joke is we only want to make you go to Idaho once. Just kidding. Anyway, then we have ongoing webinar. Thank you, Lisa. You have a great smile, so I appreciate that. We have ongoing training, monthly webinars. We even have mature franchises that are mentoring the younger ones. Just a lot of support. Our annual retreat is a lot of best practice sharing between franchisees. Plus, we have a full-blown intranet with all training, et cetera, for our franchisees. Pretty quick. It's a great industry to be a part of. Very essential. If you are on like Verizon or anything other than T-Mobile, if you just text senior care to 90210. So if you're on a real carrier, or you can jot down my email and connect with me and be happy to spend some time with you. And very appreciative of FranNet putting this together. I will say industry-wise, the folks that are involved come through FranNet folks are getting some of the best coaching in the industry for prepping you to take a look at a franchise and determining whether that's a good opportunity for you or not. And I'll look forward to taking questions at the end if anybody has some. And I'll turn off the sharing as soon as I find where that is. Where is that?
It's at the top.
Oh, there it is. It's on the other screen.
Well,
Stop
Dan,
share. There we go.
Really appreciate it. Next, we're going to have Lisa Montano from SEMI-ABSENTEE, and she's going to do her presentation. So Lisa, you're on.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon here in Texas. This is a beautiful picture of Austin, Texas. That is where our home office is based. So I'm excited to have the opportunity to get to speak with you all today. And thanks, Emily, and everyone else at FranNet. This is going to be a great experience. I'm looking forward to it. So just a quick introduction. I've been with SEMI-ABSENTEE since 2008. So that great recession Emily was speaking about, SEMI-ABSENTEE was there. SEMI-ABSENTEE actually started back in '98. So we went through the dot-com bust as well. And technology services, obviously always something that people are needing to have and need support for. So you guys are starting on this journey of figuring out the reasons why you want to be in business. You know, what is it that you're looking for? And you'll probably find as you go through, there's going to be certain things that mean something to you. And, you know, our franchisees fall into all of these same categories that I'm showing you here. You know, some people have been laid off. They're not ready to retire. You know, other people are wanting to build an asset. You know, some people are going, you know what, I did a lot. I've learned a lot. I want to be able to flex my entrepreneurial wings and, you know, take my knowledge, take my skills and build something for myself. Other people are looking to make an impact in their local community. And with a franchise like SEMI-ABSENTEE Solutions, this is all very possible as well. And so many of our franchisees are looking in all these areas. So thinking about SEMI-ABSENTEE Solutions, IT support, we have proven systems for how our franchisees are able to offer services to their small business clients, multiple recurring revenue streams. They're offering contract terms, so 1, 2, 3 year terms. Client knows exactly what they're spending. Franchisee knows exactly what revenue they have coming in. They know what services, provides them an ability to really scale and create a budget for their clients. So now they can focus on running their business. The leading edge solutions, things in technology change. They change very quickly. And so we have a team leading that charge. and making sure we're providing the right services at the right time for the small business owners. You know, getting the right clients, lots of different companies, lots of different industries out there that need technology to work, especially now. Everything we're going through with the virus outbreak, many of our franchisees were able to step in, help their clients work remotely, help them get their business set up so they can continue to operate. You know, other businesses might be impacted. And so they're helping them navigate through this uncertain time and really focusing on their technology and helping them so they can focus on their people and the things that they are offering. You know, training and support, obviously every franchise system is going to have, you know, significant training, support. With CMIT, we're no different. We have a coach that'll work with you the first 2 years that you're in business, holding your hand. We're going to teach you our consultative sales process. So really position you to be a trusted advisor to the small business owners you work with. You'll be able to go in, ask questions, find out what kind of problems they're having, put together solutions to solve the problem. So you have a 3-week pre-training period, 2 weeks of on-site or potentially virtual training if we're still experiencing challenges with the virus. And so we've been able to continue to function and grow and help our franchisees grow. And that last one there where we talk about collaboration and community, I know all good franchise systems, and I think all of these that we have today are included in this. The franchisees really figure out a way to work together. And that is no different here in CMIT. It's really very helpful. I know Ken spoke about that with his 340, 350 owners. CMIT, same situation, 240 locations. So nationwide, day one, you come into business, you're interconnected with 240 other locations, some who've been operating for as much as over 20 years. And so you are able to tap into those resources and tap into that knowledge base and know that, hey, it's me, I'm starting my business here, but I've got a group behind me that'll really be able to help me. And so our mission, very simple. When it comes to technology, we just want to empower these small businesses. They don't know how to manage technology. They know their business. They know how to make signs. They know how to take care of people. To give examples to the 2 franchises you just heard from. But, you know, they may need support when it comes to their technology. And so having a proactive solution is something that our franchisees can really take on that responsibility for them and give them peace of mind when it comes to, hey, how do I worry about all these different things? A lot of terminology out there. When you talk about technology, people talk about cloud solutions, people talk about ransomware, security breaches, all kinds of things out there that go on. And so that's what we do for our clients. We really focus on that so that they can grow their business. And we do this, the market that we serve, I know we've talked about, you know, different B2B spaces. Ours is 5 to 500, very small companies, 5 employees, up to, you know, much larger companies that have 500 employees. They all have technology. They all don't necessarily have, you know, in-house expertise. That's very expensive. So a lot of them are looking for that outsourcing model, which we can provide as a CMIT franchise. And we have that little slogan there, if it beeps or blinks, we take care of it. And, you know, that takes care of a lot of frustration that a lot of business owners would have of knowing, hey, I've got my trusted advisor, you know, chief technology officer, whatever you want to, hat you want to wear for that. But really, you're building relationships. You're sitting down talking to people about their business problems, and you're helping them solve those problems. So some of our franchisees don't even come from an IT background. They come from a good business background, just like, you know, you don't necessarily want nurses in the assisted hands franchise. We don't want technicians in our franchise either, because a lot of them may not be as good at the business development. Now, if they are, great, that works out perfect, because they are building relationships and they are focused on those things, because there's millions of companies out there that fit this demographic, and they are spending $66 billion on their IT. And so it's a great opportunity to get in to a business where you're not having to worry about the recession, things like that. Technology continues to function. It's helping people function a lot more during this series of events that we have that we're faced with. And people embracing that are realizing, wow, there's a huge value here in having my trusted advisor in my IT support and being able to help me continue to do business. Because these challenges all still happen, whether we're fighting a virus, whether we're having an economic downturn, or whether things are great, there's always support that's needed. There are people out there doing bad things with, security, trying to break in, trying to hack. People accidentally delete files and, oh my goodness, what do I do? Bad disasters happen. And so being able to know that they have plans in place to help them maneuver through all of these different scenarios and events that can happen in the course of them running their business, because we're really there to help them protect their asset. They have a very viable business. They have people relying on them every day for income as well as for the services that they're providing. So we are there to be able to help them navigate through all these times, give them the guidance that they're needing and the support that they may be looking for. I mentioned ransomware, so I did want to throw this out because usually when we hear about ransomware, it's when a large company has been attacked. But now we're finding almost 80% of small businesses, that's where the attackers are now focused. It's a lower payout, but it's a lot easier target. And so these small business owners have a lot at risk and at stake there. And putting together a few simple solutions with a product like CMIT Secure can really help them mitigate those risks and help them have plans in place that, oh my goodness, my employee did accidentally click on the wrong link. We've got ransomware, but our data was backed up. We don't have to pay the ransom. The information they stole was encrypted. And so we don't have to worry about the data being lost. That can give a lot of peace of mind to small business owners at a very small price. I wanted to bring this one chart in because I know a lot of people are concerned about, with COVID-19, are people stopping their spending? They are not. They are realizing, hey, there's still a lot of things that we have to do, we have to take care of to protect our business. So I wanted to include this for you all so that you could see in this business, people are continuing to spend on their technology solutions. So what are the keys to success? We have a franchise life cycle, just like all of our other franchise systems. You're now contemplating going into discovery, working with Paige or Roxanne or Craig, and going through that process, working with some of the franchisors. We have that system as well. We'll take you through our discovery process, really educate you because we want to figure out, are we a good fit for each other? People who come from lots of different backgrounds are potentially really great fits for CMIT. Financial services, marketing, sales, accounting, people who did general business management, even people from technical backgrounds. If they enjoy interacting with people, this could potentially be a great fit for them as well. We have our training program that we put everyone through so that they're properly trained and ready to present CMIT, ready to talk about it, ready to do assessments. We have a launch process where you'll have a coach that'll work with you those first 2 years, holding your hand, helping you wherever you're needing support, doing assessments, doing proposals, doing the marketing, doing the sales, whatever your questions are, hiring your first technician. You're going to have support with all those things. And then you move into growth. And this is a potential to really grow your business to whatever level that you would like to do. The neat thing about our model, it's not retail space based. So you're not having a space you can office from home. You have a territory that has 3,000 to 4,000 businesses that fit that criteria of having 500 to 500 employees. And so you have that capability to really grow your business as large as you want to, or make it what you want, the flexibility you're looking for, the freedoms that you're looking for, and then be able to have a valuable asset that when you're ready for an exit strategy, you can sell it to someone else. You could have family members take it over at some point. You could be grooming an employee to take it over. You could step back and have some residual income. So all of these are possibilities with CMIT and our business. We have you focus on what's important. Obviously the learning, the marketing, and the sales. That is building a business relationship with small business owners. And those are the things that you'll be focused on. We have a marketing playbook. So you're going to know step by step, here's the activities I need to be focused on. We have this pretty little circle here for you to be able to see lots of different things. With marketing, there's no one silver bullet, magic pill, whatever you want to call it, that's going to get everyone to say, hey, let's come in and talk to CMIT. lots of different things there. So you've got lots of support from within the organization as well as outside the organization, websites, telemarketing, pay-per-click, all those things to help you grow your business. And we position you. Here's why I talk about the technician or the trusted advisor. This is a great slide here. We really position our franchisees to be that trusted advisor. You're hiring technicians to do the actual technical work. So you can go in and function much like their accountant or their attorney. They have questions about financials, they go to their accountant. They have questions about legal things, they go to their attorney. Technology, same thing, go to their trusted advisor who has all of these tools and resources that they can help them, be able to grow and scale their business. So why SEMI-ABSENTEE Solutions? Getting back to our people. We have great franchisees. Obviously, we are very partial to our franchisees. Our service far superior to that of most of the competition that's out there. A lot of little small mom and pop shops that are providing, some support. They'll run around, take care of problems. Our service is, A+, and it's proactive. It's designed to prevent problems from happening. Our technology, all of that is focused around our franchisees, our small business owners. What do they need? And then the culture and the community of our franchisees, very collaborative. I mentioned that earlier. I'm going to show you the next little slide here with one of our franchisees, Amy Justice. She's in Charleston, South Carolina. And when she came on board, she was the only person in that area, but she was able to collaborate with franchisees in all parts of the country. And when interestingly enough, I'll tell a quick story on Amy. When she came to Meet the Team Day, she came in like August, September of 2013. While she was there at her Meet the Team Day, which is when you get to come to Austin and visit with us, or we do it virtually, she told us she was going to be Rookie of the Year for the next conference. And come around April 2014, guess who was Rookie of the Year? You guessed it, Amy Justice. So we're in lots of different states here. We do have open territories, as you can see, in a couple of those areas, but we function in many of the states, and we're able to really provide those resources to our franchisees. And these are some of our partners. A lot of these partners people have never heard of because they are best in breed providers that provide backup solutions, disaster recovery solutions, 24/7 remote monitoring, remediation. They don't sell directly to end user consumers, so they sell through SEMI-ABSENTEE Solutions, which makes them great partnerships as well. We've won several national awards with ConnectWise, formerly known as Continuum. We were their franchise partner, or their partner of the year, I should say. We are a franchise system. And so that was a great honor for us. We are HIPAA compliant with being able to work with medical. We are ranked in Franchise 500. CompTIA is a trade and industry association for technology. And so having their trust mark qualification is something that's very great. They work with a lot of our different technicians and people to make sure that they're trained properly on all the technicians and the technical things. Our leadership team is always there for people, going through the process. You may interact with some of these different members of the team as well. And, we just look forward to having the opportunity to maybe talk about SEMI-ABSENTEE, talk about you, what you're looking for your dreams, and if we might be a great match. So I'd just like to thank everyone.
Lisa, thank you so much. That was excellent. Next, we're going to have Tom Ewing from ServiceMaster present to us. So Tom, if you're on, if you can go ahead and get started.
I am. Thank you, Paige. So let me get this pulled up here. So I appreciate the ability to speak to everyone today. Hope everybody's staying safe and well out there. So just brief introduction. My name's Tommy Ewing. I'm the Market Expansion Manager with ServiceMaster Clean. Some of you guys may be familiar with the brand. ServiceMaster Clean, we're a commercial cleaning franchise, been around since 1929. Started franchising in 1952, one of the first franchise businesses in America. Started to scale out in the 1960s into the healthcare arena, where we were a pioneer in third-party outsourcing, and then have continued to scale to the point now where we're nationwide, around 480 enterprises across the U.S. and then several international companies as well, or international countries as well. services that we provide, basically two buckets. So contracted janitorial services. So if you think of this along the lines of contract-based work, so you have an opportunity in a facility, you go out, you submit a bid, you hopefully win the bid, and then that company would sign a contract with you, and you have, recurring services and recurring revenue coming in month over month. There's a commercial specialty or a project side of the business where you're doing things such as floor care, post-construction cleanup, or any type of ancillary cleaning service that would be done in a commercial facility. So things like upholstery, high-low dusting windows, duct cleaning or things to that effect. So two major sources of revenue coming into the business. I always jump into the industry a little bit. Most everybody on this call probably did not wake up this morning dreaming of owning a commercial cleaning business. So I tell folks that you kind of have to be comfortable with the industry before we really even need to talk about ServiceMaster. So just the industry in and of itself is massive. So you're talking about a $140 billion market in the United States that's growing annually at about a 4% clip. 60% of that's outsourced, so around an $84 billion market in the U.S. to be cared for by companies such as ServiceMaster Clean. Some of the things that this industry has going for it when you kind of dig underneath the surface and start doing your due diligence on it. So we already talked about contract-based services. So you have a recurring revenue coming in month over month. Recession resistant, I think this day and age has challenged the definition of recession resistant, but the way I phrase that now is I just say, obviously, if a commercial facility is in operation, there is some type of commercial cleaning service being performed in there. So it does have, some stickiness to it when times get tough. It's all B2B, so you're dealing with a professional B2B clientele. You've basically got unlimited scalability with low ongoing capital intensity. So it's a labor-based business. So if you want to grow the business, it's as simple as going out and getting another customer or another contract, hiring the part-time help to service it, and you just kind of build it brick on brick. Our average franchise runs around $1,035,000 in revenue, but we've had people scale it as high as $17.2 million. Very low barrier to entry, very highly fragmented, dominated by moms and pops and small independents. And so the positive of that is generally if you've got some business acumen, you can carve out a pretty nice space for yourself because you're quite honestly just competing or navigating against people that may not have the same skill set. We already talked about the low startup capital, a business where you're not really dealing with the Googles and the Amazons of the world. It's a service-based business, and you've got virtually no regulation or policy type restrictions in there. Now every business has a stink, right? If it didn't, we'd have already opened it. So the challenge with this industry is you are dealing with low skilled labor and you do have a high turnover dynamic. So you need to be comfortable with that part of the business, for this to be right for you. The other challenge in this industry can be the mom and pops, the independents create a high level of competition, they create price sensitivity, and they can drive pricing down. Typically the way we'll combat something like that is we say we add complexity. So to kind of give you an example, health and medical, which is one of our largest verticals, will run you all the way through something called CSCT training, certified surgical cleaning technician. So essentially you're equipped to flip an operating room. So once you carry that, there's nothing in the health and medical world that you can't tackle. So to be able to walk into a facility and say, hi, I'm with ServiceMaster Clean, we carry CSCT accreditation, you've pretty much eliminated a mom and pop from being able to play in that type space. And so adding complexity essentially creates that differentiator there. COVID-19, we're actually, I think you would say, one of the few businesses benefiting from COVID-19. So we are the essential service that is in the facility performing, the disinfection and cleaning on a day-to-day basis. Things like this are nothing new to us. If you're familiar with ServiceMaster, there's a sister company, ServiceMaster Restore, which is a disaster mitigation company. You typically see the fleets of vehicles headed towards the hurricane and flood zones and things like that. So, command centers, disaster management is in our DNA. So what we're seeing in this space right now is obviously if the building's closed, you can't clean it, right? But the buildings that are open, you're seeing an increased demand for higher end services. So disinfection of high touch surfaces, coffee pot handles, doorknobs, toilet flush handles, things to that effect. And so, a business that was a good business before, but was kind of like an out of sight, out of mind business, is kind of being thrust into the spotlight in this COVID-19 world. And hopefully, the theory is post COVID-19, things like commercial cleaning become to be more prominent, more front and center, more top of mind, which creates, more upside for higher end disinfection or sanitation type services for our franchisees. So Service Master in and of itself, now we've talked about the industry a little bit. So pretty much any type of vertical is an opportunity for you. So you obviously can business and office spaces. Healthcare is probably our number one vertical that we target. We do a good bit of healthcare work. We actually grew that vertical 26% year over year last year. But you think about things like banking, financial, manufacturing, industrial, schools, churches. We have franchises that clean, NBA arenas, college football stadiums. Pretty much any type of a commercial facility would be a target client for you. The first thing people think of when they hear janitorials, they say, I have no interest to clean a toilet. And that's good, because we're not looking for folks that want to clean toilets. We are actually looking for, ideally someone who sees themselves developing into the president or CEO of $1 million plus commercial cleaning company. So like I said, our average owner does over $1 million in revenue. So essentially we're looking for someone that's more of an entrepreneurial mindset, that would handle things such as sales and marketing, operational management. But you essentially have a team of people underneath you that's doing the services in the buildings. Training and support, been around, like I said, since 1929. It's a turnkey business. We bring you in day one, put you through 2 weeks of extensive training, 1 week's web-based. You can do it from home, gets into a lot of the business courses. We'll bring you to Memphis, Tennessee, which is where we're headquartered, and we will go through a hands-on week where we'll learn how to measure facilities, bid facilities. You get into a lot of the processes and procedures, a lot of the advanced floor care dynamic. So it's very hands-on. A couple photos there, they'll put you to work while you're here. And then when you get done and you go back to your real market, you have continuing support in the form of what we call business development consultants. I tell folks, training's great, but you're drinking water out of a fire hose, right? So now you go home, first customer, first bid, help. This doesn't look anything like the training environment. So we actually have a gentleman, Steve Faldine. He's been with the company for about 20 years. He works directly with all new franchisees in their first 2 years to help you build and scale the business. Now you'll transition to a full-time BDC at the end of 2 years. You always have a BDC, but we separate the new people out just because we found your needs are so much different than an established franchise. So we want to make sure that you have focal or dedicated support around, your specific needs. Service Master, big company. So all the, bells and whistles that you would expect with a franchise, full-time technical staff, technical hotline, webinars, being done weekly now on COVID-19 response, newsletters. We do regional training workshops throughout the country. We're supposed to be in Las Vegas 2 weeks ago for convention, but instead I was in my living room in Memphis making phone calls. So we have an annual convention. And the Franchise Family Network, essentially that is a team of franchisees that's built out that does specialty. So in other words, if you're looking to get into cleaning college dormitories or gymnasiums or cloud computing centers, no need to recreate the wheel. There's essentially a network of franchisees that are like a subject matter experts in particular verticals that you can call on. We do have a national accounts team. They will go out and solicit accounts on a national and regional basis. You can see some of our bigger clients there, FedEx, Wells Fargo, Hertz, et cetera. Clients in your territory, they will push work down to your direction. We also run nationwide the lead generation campaigns due to our scope. And so again, any leads coming into the contact centers or the portals get pushed down to you. So there is some corporate support on lead generation in addition to your local sales and marketing or scaling efforts that you would do. Very low investment. You're looking at a $76,000 to $86,000 initial investment. That's inclusive of $35,000 in working capital. Again, like I said, it's predominantly a labor-based business. We do offer discounts for veterans as well as female and minority-owned businesses. And also one of the unique things about ServiceMaster is we actually have our own in-house financing subsidiary. So for as little as 20% down, we will in-house finance with rates that would be competitive with what you would get from the SBA. And, we can get you approved in as little as like 24 to 48 hours. So pretty simple there, which is a big advantage. And that is me, Tommy Ewing. If you would like to discuss, further in depth, then I'm sure you guys are working directly with someone from FranNet and we can get connected and get a little bit more in depth. So Paige, appreciate the opportunity and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Tommy. That was wonderful. So we have one more presentation from one of our franchisors, and then we'll jump into financing. So Exponential Financial, we're going to have John North. So John, you're up.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Let's get into some fitness. So first of all, thanks a lot for FranNet for putting this on. Also, thanks a lot for all the attendees on today's call. Perfect. All right. So today I'm going to talk about Exponential Fitness. We actually have 8 phenomenal brands, and I have a total of 15 minutes to cover the 8 brands. So needless to say, I'm not going to get really into brand specifics. Consult with your FranNet consultant to help you find the right brand based on what you're looking for, as well as territory availability. But my name is John North. I'm the Director of Franchise Development for Exponential Fitness, and I have the pleasure working on all 8 of the brands. So let's start off with who is Exponential Fitness. If you haven't heard of Exponential Fitness, they are the largest boutique fitness brand in the United States. And it was really created to dominate all boutique fitness verticals in the industry. And it's really about creating value propositions that don't exist anywhere else. Ultimately, a membership that you can use at the different fitness modalities. And that way we can own not only the customer base, but the labor pool as well. And just to break it down a little bit, it's really a proven business model with a ton of support. Exponential Fitness has about 1,700 locations open, up and running, and you're going to continue to see many, many more over the next few years. And it's really all about creating the best distribution network possible. So really beautiful stores, which we call affordable luxury, value price points, excellent class selection, great instructors, and really classes 7 days a week for anyone from a beginner, to an expert. So not everyone that goes to Exponential Fitness has a 6-pack and is in great shape. A lot of people join because they need to lose weight or they have fitness goals. And that's what's nice about Exponential Fitness brands is they're very inclusive. They tend to be extremely experiential. Great lighting, great AV, great sound. Obviously, our Yoga 6 brand isn't like going to a concert or a nightclub, but we do have other brands like Cycle Bar or Row House or Stride, where it is just that. And that environment just gets you all pumped up and wanting to work out. That instructor, the people around you, get you pumped up and wanting to work out. And really the environment becomes contagious. There was a study done a while back on what's drawing people to boutique fitness. And unfortunately with COVID, a lot of things going on and more people are going to go to boutique fitness because smaller size buildings, you can track people, you can keep it clean after each class is over. We really can't do that with the big box gym. So there's a lot of demand for boutique fitness already, but you're going to continue to see more and more demand out there. But there were really 3 things that stood out to why people were already looking at boutique fitness. And the first one was actually fun. People wanted to enjoy themselves, their fitness, their workout. The second one is really important. It's indicative of the first and third, and that's community. That sense of community, support, camaraderie. And I think that's one of the biggest differences from the big box gym to boutique fitness. And the third is results. Well, the nice thing about Exponential Fitness brands is we certainly accomplish all 3. Now, there are a lot of different fitness brands out there, and I mentioned that Exponential Fitness is already the biggest and the best, But why Exponential Fitness? Well, really, because it's a complete fulfillment franchise. You will be supported in every step of the way of getting your studios open, up and running, and driving towards profitability. It really starts with our use of a Buxton demographic software modeling tool, which really helps you find the best locations. What are the locations that make sense? You know, how many locations should there be in a certain area versus just winging it? Once you join the franchise, the first person you'll work with is the VP of real estate. And they'll assign you a vetted, plugged in, connected commercial real estate broker in your market. And they're gonna help you find locations, view locations, and lock down the best possible locations. Once you sign your lease, your grand opening marketing program is gonna start. Now, the nice thing about selling memberships is because you can pre-sell memberships, you can rapidly accelerate your positive cash flows. Once you grand open, you then go to ongoing monthly marketing campaigns. They have a training, which was always done in Orange County, but now it's going to be done virtually, where they go over operations manuals, brand standards, selling strategies, hiring, training, motivation, recruiting. And then when you do hire a general manager, your general manager will go through a subsequent training. Exponential Fitness brands are designed to be semi-absentee, you know, just hiring someone that really has that sales background. Oftentimes they'll even have fitness sales background, but we do get owners that are owner operators if they have a really good sales background, but that's going to be really important in this. You work with our director of recruiting. They'll help you with job boards, job postings, interview guides to help you onboard not only instructors, but front desk staff and general managers. They'll assist with the training of staff, grand opening, make sure that everything goes off with a bang. They do ongoing conference calls to keep everyone in the loop. And they even do proactive key performance indicator monitoring. So if a key metric starts to slip, it's a lot easier to make little tweaks to get things right back up to speed versus having waited for them to become totally broken and a real problem. So really a lot of support before, during, after grand opening. Very much technology-driven brands. So we have full membership management software, customer relationship manager software. You'll have access, remote access to your studio's dashboards. You'll be able to pull up your key performance indicators. Clients do all their own class bookings using mobile applications and online, make things much simpler for the studios because they don't have to manage it. And all locations have their own online learning management system for all studio owners and employees. You know, this is a reoccurring monthly membership model, which works out really nice because for owners, you can know how much money is going to be coming in. It also makes it a lot easier to forecast your business because under the package model, packages would get sold and then people would wait and hope that they get used and then they would attempt to sell them another package. Well, with the reoccurring monthly membership model, it's very predictable and consistent, but also for the clients, it's use it or lose it. So because of that, they attend more classes. Because they attend more classes, they get better results and they stay with the system. So very easy, efficient, and effective business model. You know, I would love to talk to you about, you know, different brands in much, much more detail. Again, there's 8 different brands, so we really had to scale it down a lot for this presentation. There is an Exponential Fitness website, so you can certainly take a look at the brands, but really reach out to your FranNet consultant and talk to them, you know, based on what I'm looking for, what would be the best overall fit, you know, because of that. And then the other one, because of territory availability. You know, with over 1,700 locations already open, you know, there's well over 3,000 locations sold. Locations are being opened at a very efficient rate. You know, the nice thing is even during COVID-19, franchisees are still joining the system. We're still signing leases. It was mentioned earlier that real estate is going to have better opportunities down the road. You know, we're already seeing tenant improvements and things like that sopping up. So really a lot of opportunity there. I would love to speak with you. So talk to your FranNet consultant so they can put you in touch with the right brand. And I'd love to cover it with you in more detail. So thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.
Thanks, John. So to kind of close this out today, before we go into our Q&A session, how do we finance these businesses? Where does the money come from? What are our options? What does the stage look like in the current environment? So I'm going to have Wendy Schemer come up from Bennett Trends, and she's going to talk a little bit about funding, and then we'll close it out with a Q&A period and go from there. So Wendy, you're up.
Thank you so much, Blair. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you fine.
Perfect, perfect. And thank you again. I kind of mimic off of everybody else's comments on the appreciation for you to set this up for us. I know a lot of folks are anxious after seeing all those amazing opportunities. I know I want to go work out so badly after seeing the last presentation, but you're right. How do we fund the business? And what we have in common between all those brands is that Bennett Trends can help you fund the business. Bennett Trends has been around since 1983, working with some of you folks both in the franchise community and the business consulting community for a real long time now. We appreciate the relationship and just can't say enough wonderful things about the FranNet community and the consultants that are joining us today, as well as the brands that we have joining us. So definitely an honor to be amongst your company. And to get right into it, how do we fund the business? A lot of folks are talking about SBA. Gosh, it's all over the news. Does everybody know about the ROBS program? And then a program that I'm going to touch on very high level is a program where we really focus on the structure of your business from the onset, real focused on minimizing the tax on the sale of the business. So really forward thinking, and just kind of gives you an idea of what we do here behind the scenes at Bennett Trends. But to just get right into it, I've been with Bennett Trends now 7 years. Prior to that, I was on the SBA side. So extremely familiar with what's happening in the environment of funding for all these different brands. What everybody's talking about is SBA. So I thought I'd get that over with right away here on our presentation today. And a lot of folks, you'll hear 7A when folks are talking about SBA. All that really means is it's a typical SBA loan from $50,000 to $5 million. However, we're talking a lot about the Relief Act and the PPP. Keep in mind, that's for existing businesses that started prior to February of 2020. However, there's a lot of incentives still for new businesses. I'm going to talk about the SBA's latest promotion of getting a new business loan. If you're able to close that loan before September 27th of this year, they are paying for the first 6 months of payments. And a lot of folks drop their phone or drop their Zoom call when I tell them that, but it is true. The point of getting through the SBA program before September 27th and might make real good sense for you. I foresee that they'll eventually extend that, but the most important thing to realize is that there are banks that are focused on new business financing. Typical interest rates on any SBA loan is going to be about 2 3/4 above prime. So right now, the loans that I'm seeing, the term sheets are between 5.5% and 6% interest. I would put in your projection 6% for now. The timing of an SBA loan comes up quite often. And I think we'd be kidding ourselves to think that the timeline isn't going to extend. Historically, it's been 45 to 75 days. I think worst case right now is we're seeing the potential for it to extend to 100 days. When you go through the process start to finish and you break it down, it really makes sense with the journey that you're going to be on with your franchise opportunity. Now, of course, we all want to know, am I going to be eligible for an SBA loan? Let me start by saying, with the climate today, a lot of folks have gotten laid off. A lot of folks are furloughed. Keep in mind, I am able to get loans for folks who are not working. It is not a deal breaker. Credit report, that credit score, excuse me, that box is still tight. They want to see 680 or better, very reasonable. Transferable management skills are something the lenders are going to be talking to you a lot about. That's something your amazing FranNet consultant's going to help you with finding that right business opportunity, and we'll make sure that we have that illustrated in your business plan as you go through that that part of the process. A question I get over and over again is, can I get a small business loan without using any personal collateral? The answer is sure. It might be somewhat of a unicorn, but we can try. There are certain loans that I can get as low as 10% down and no collateral, but the reality is they're extremely far and few in between. You might need to put some personal collateral down if you don't have business assets to collateralize. And we'll talk about that, what makes you feel comfortable. You don't have to use your primary residence. There's a lot of options. There is no escaping the fact that that SBA lender wants you to have some skin in the game. Usually loans are going to come out to 20%. I know folks are asking about 10% down. It's out there, it's not often, but I would project 20% down. Some genres we might have to go up a little more, but we'll discuss that on our consultation. Some of the things that you'll eventually have to present to that lender: your resume, your business plan. We have great resources if you need help writing that business plan. Benetrends will definitely go over your cash flow projections, make sure they're where they need to be to get approved by an SBA loan. Forgive me, I see a typo in my presentation here, so I was trying to edit stuff earlier today, so forgive me. 3 years tax returns is something you'll eventually need. A lot of folks talk about the Fast Track program. When you hear Fast Track Express, loans under 150, that's just what they are. They're a smaller size project or a smaller size loan. So the loan has to be 150 or less. The benefit of this program is that it does turn around quicker, but the reason is I have fewer banks and that's all they focus on. 30 to 45 day turnaround in today's climate. Maybe it's more like a 45 to 60 day turnaround. It is a quicker close. Keep in mind, we are learning as we go through COVID-19. Never want to present fear that where there's no necessity for that. But really with the SBA loans, things might take a little bit longer. So be more proactive. A lot of folks think they have to have that final business opportunity figured out. We can still get things done while you're on that journey. We can still start building certain things that aren't specific to that business, but more specific to what your financial requirements would be. Why go to Benetrends to get a loan? I'm sure once the country opens up again, I can go back to Main Street and go to Chase and Wells and all these other local banks and they can help me with their small business loans. Well, the answer is yes, absolutely. You can go work with a local lender. We can help you with additional funding. But the benefit of working with Benetrends is the experience that you're going to get with our SBA team. We have a team of experts that have been helping folks for over 35 years get funding through the SBA program. And what I feel in today's environment is really important are options. I don't want to be with just one bank and then have them be inundated with relief funding and not be able to get to my loan. So if that happens, Benetrends is going to have another lender behind that lender. Our goal is to always come back to you with 3 to 5 potential lenders and their offerings, their term sheets. Then we'll sit down and work with you to figure out which bank makes the most sense. Some folks might want a bank that has a lower collateral requirement, but that's in their local community. So we'll find out what your needs are, match you up with that right lender. We have a 98% success rate. And so what that means is 98% of the pre-qualifications my team gets pre-qualified who want to move forward, get funding. In this industry, that is a tremendous asset for in helping you get a small business loan. And also, if for whatever reason you did not get a loan, things changed, we weren't able to get you a loan, you're in that 2%, you'll never be out any skin in the game, okay? Now, some of you sit there and say, oh, I just don't like debt. Or how am I going to come up with that 20 to 30% down? I really want to preserve my post-tax dollars in my savings account. What's another way for me to help fund this business? And I'm sure you can tell I sit up straighter, my voice gets louder. It's in a very exciting program, the Rainmaker Plan here at Benetrends. Hopefully a lot of you have heard about it. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you hadn't. It is very specific to this world in small business financing. So if you're new to becoming an entrepreneur, this might be a new concept to you. But what if I told you that you could use your 401k from your previous employer and you could use those funds upon terminating that relationship to buy your business without paying any tax or penalty? Now, I know some of you are thinking, oh, I got COVID, I can take $50,000 or $100,000 out of my 401k or my IRA. Sure, you have to pay it back in 3 years. And traditionally that should be used for hardship I don't know how hard they're monitoring that, but the benefit of this program is I can stay invested for the life of the business. I can use this as a way to become a multi-unit owner. I can use this as cash for my skin in the game, or I could buy my entire business with my retirement funds and have no debt. Now, I know some of those concepts cash flow pretty quickly. Think about how much faster they cash flow if you're not servicing debt or you're really minimizing that debt that you're servicing. So let's get the elephant out of the room. How does it work? So many times I get calls from folks who say, oh, I just lost my job to no choice of my own. My largest asset is in my 401k. And I know I can't touch that money, but I have no other choice. So I'm going to pull it out and I'm 54. Well, wow, I pull it out in the year I usually just left my job because I'm panicking, right? I want to get that business up and running. I don't want to have too much of a gap in salary. So now all of a sudden, my old 401k had $200,000. Now I only have $120,000. The average individual is at about a 30% tax bracket. If you're under 59 and a half, you're going to pay that 10%. So now you were so excited, you were talking to one of your franchise consultants from FranNet, and you're talking about, I have $200,000 to spend. You pull the money out, you realize you only have 120. And that's just a shame. We don't want to give that money up. So what if I could use that full $200,000 to buy my business? Why wouldn't I, right? So here's how it works. The first thing we do for you is we have to set up your corporate entity. When you utilize your retirement funds in this manner, the IRS dictates you have to be a C corporation. In today's environment, the C corporation is your friend, tax rates are low. We set up your C corporation for you. Then what we do here at Benetrends, we're a full service retirement planning company. We're going to customize a qualified retirement plan for you. I emphasize that because it's really important that you're not just in a cookie cutter 401k, especially if you don't have over 50 employees. So now, step one, you're a C corporation, you're doing business as one of these lovely brands that were introduced today, hopefully. We've customized a qualified retirement plan for your needs, and your company sponsors it. So as an employee of your company, you are eligible to participate. You can now roll over that full $200,000 into your new plan, tax deferred, penalty free. So, okay, that's great. So now I have $200,000 in my retirement plan. I'm going to tell my custodian, I want to buy the stock, non-publicly traded stock. I have all the voting rights, but I'm going to be able to use those funds to buy the stock in my company. Okay, I'm doing business as a franchise. I'm a C corporation. I just bought $200,000 worth of stock in my company. Well, what happens in step 4? The magic happens. That $200,000 in its entirety is now in my corporate bank account for all my needs. I can turn around and write my franchise fee. I can send Paige a bottle of champagne. I'm ready to go. And what's exciting is you can start paying yourself a salary. You can pay that franchise fee. So, okay, what plans are eligible? Really important. Your 401k is eligible, but you have to leave your company. If you're over 55, you might be able to take some of those funds out prematurely. Most likely 99% of 401k plans, 457 plans, 403b plans, if it's tied to your employer, you have to terminate. Now, you might have old 401ks that you rolled into your most recent. A lot of times you can roll those funds back out. But of course, rollover IRA, traditional IRA, annuities. If you've been in the service and you have a TSP, you were a teacher and you have a savings plan, all of those funds upon termination are eligible to be used in this program. Benefits of this program, of course, the obvious. I can use that money. I always thought I could only use that money to buy stock in somebody else's publicly traded company, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Now knowing that I could use those pre-tax dollars is extremely exciting because as we illustrated, I know I owe a percentage of that to the government, but I can use it to grow my business. I mentioned it, I don't think I can mention it often enough, the ability to cash flow sooner. It's gonna make folks real excited. The ability to use your SBA loan gives you more options. Also, We saw some presentations here where really there's a lot of opportunity for multi-unit area development. If you're looking at a brick and mortar and you're looking at an SBA loan, that SBA lender most likely is only going to guarantee funding for 1 unit at a time. So utilizing retirement funds in conjunction with the small business loan can help you put the money down to secure those future territories or that area development agreement and help you get your full funding together to accomplish that goal. Okay, I know there's a lot of question out there about, can I take a salary? Absolutely, day one, you can pay yourself a salary for services rendered. It's fair and reasonable salary. I don't know anybody who's going to want to start paying themselves above market value, but those details we can work out with yourselves, with your CPAs, really easy to navigate through. Something that came up today that I thought would be worth mentioning. Folks have been out there trying to do a lot of research now. A lot of folks have a lot of time on their hands. There's a lot of research and information out in the universe about the ROBS program. The reason why I can't emphasize enough the benefit in partnering with Benetrends is the history, the understanding of how the program works. If you are audited as a ROBS client, and really, it's hard for me to say. I can't imagine the IRS has any resources to audit you in this current environment. But if you are, know that Benetrends takes care of everything. Legal, CPA, fees, if there were any. In 36 plus years, we've never had litigation that had a problem. But if we did, we have the balance sheet. We take care of it all. We want you to focus on running your business. Talked about the combination of using rollover funds and SBA. It is a common path to success to accomplish multi-unit franchise ownership. Also for some of the larger investments, it makes a lot of sense. Some of the common challenges that folks have is figuring out, well, what makes sense for me to use for that down payment on that small business loan? Should I use cash? Should I use rollover funds? Maybe I should borrow from my securities because that is not considered borrowed funds. All those choices we'll discuss on a one-on-one consultation. Everybody's needs are different. So we'll customize a plan or combination of plans that make sense for your individual needs and goals. But one thing that's always in common is Benetrends wants you to keep the money you make. We don't want you to be in a position where you're making great money, but you turn around, you're paying a lot of money in taxes, especially when it comes to the sale of your business. I'm going to mention this at a very high level. It's definitely suitable for a one-on-one call. A lot of times your CPA or your attorneys that are part of your professional team like to sit in on this because it really is genius. Okay, I have folks who come up to me at conventions and they're so excited. Oh, I did a rollover years ago with another company and I sold my business for a couple $1 million. And yeah, I just wish I kind of had better planning in my exit strategy. Well, if you sell in an asset sale and you were back in the day when the tax rate for your C corporation was 39%, then that's not a good deal. So we work with you at Benetrends to make sure you're never that person. Yeah, they're excited, they got a lot of money. We want you to keep it all. So I just want to go through a real quick example because I think this gets folks really excited. So this is a profile of a client that we had here at Benetrends purchasing a business for $500,000. This is not a typical ROBS client. This same philosophy of reducing taxation, absolutely for all our ROBS candidates and clients, but this is for somebody who's looking at, you know what, I can pay cash or I can pay with cash and a loan. I have some retirement funds. I'm willing to use some, but I'm not willing to use my full retirement portfolio, or I don't have one. I only have less than $50,000 in retirement. Okay, so this is somebody who turned around, came to Benetrends and said, my goal is to buy a business for my long-term wealth. I want to build generational wealth. I want to reduce my taxation later. So this is someone who's not looking for an immediate gain. They turned around, they invested only $10,000 from their retirement. Okay, they had to net it down to a Roth 401k. So maybe this is somebody who had $16,000 in an old IRA. We convert it to a Roth IRA, we convert it to a Roth 401k in our plan, and we issue common stock for that investment. Just like the rollover we talked about. When you rolled over that $200,000 in that previous example, for that $200,000, you got 200,000 common shares of stock. The difference here is that the other part of the investment is being made with cash and a loan, or just cash works as well. And the magic sauce is that that personal investment, we're going to issue you preferred shares of stock redeemable at par value. All that means is we're issuing stock to you that's Class B stock redeemable at purchase price. So when you sell that business, you get back your $90. That's it, okay? The rest of the money goes in the retirement plan. So this again is somebody who is buying a $500,000 business, turned around, had an offering for somebody to buy the business in a stock sale transaction, although it does work with an asset sale. These are always more attractive in a stock sale. So anyway, sold his business for $1 million. At the end of the day, what went back in his retirement plan was $910,000. Okay, no taxes. Goes back into his retirement plan that he has here with us at Benetrend. He rolls, or she rolls, that money into a rollover IRA. In this case, he was 59 and a half, okay? He's got to wait 5 years, leaves it in that IRA. When he pulls that out at 59, in 5 years, excuse me, he has no taxable event. Not only did he escape taxation on the 910 on his capital gain, he won't pay any taxes on those post-tax appreciation of that money over the 5 years while it's in that IRA making money. Now, some are saying that's egregious. You can't do that. Why would anybody allow you to have par value at purchase price? There is a taxable event in that you have a 5% cumulative dividend. But boy, that's a small price to pay, and you can pay it at the end when you know you're seeing all this gain. It's a small price to pay for the benefit you get. The reason why I bring up this on today's presentation, I know it's been a long time, you've been sharing your time with us, we certainly appreciate it, but the idea that I can buy a business, I can grow it and sell it and not have to give all those hard-earned earnings to Uncle Sam. Now, real quick, I'm going to go through 2 other programs and want to leave a lot of time for questions and answers. And I know financing can be boring, but this is another exciting program. A lot of us have investments outside of retirement. So, for example, I had a client had $1 million in HP stock. They can borrow against it, just like you do your home in a home equity line of credit. So for $1 million in stock, they have access to $800,000 credit line. Usually where you hold your securities, they will do this for you. You don't even have to move the securities. You still get your dividend, and you can use this towards your SBA loan because you're not creating a creditor. Really exciting program. No skin in the game for us here at Benetrends if you do that, but I'd be remiss not to share this with you, especially folks feel that their portfolios right now are undervalued. It's a great way to take advantage of that because there's nothing but upside. And then lastly, I wanted to make sure I spoke about the participation loan. If you do a rollover with Benetrends, every time you have this program, you have access to rolling over additional funds that you don't need for the business and taking a participation loan. Just like in the past, if you had a 401k with your previous employer and you borrowed up to $50,000, 50% of the vested amount, same program is available to you here at Benetrends. If it's for anything related to COVID-19, you can access even more, up to $100,000, and the penalties and are waived, and you can pay it over 3 years. But just want to worth mentioning this because a lot of folks move that money to a rollover IRA, and then if they want to borrow it, they couldn't pre-COVID-19, or if you wanted to use it for your business, know that when you do a program here with Benetrends, the ROBS, the Advantage program, you can always take advantage of this. And I know that's a lot of information. I encourage you to follow up and set up a one-on-one consultation with me. I am going to pass the reins over to you, Paige, for you to, or Emily, I'm not sure who's taking over, but again, thank you so much. Hope this was helpful information. We can get your businesses funded, and multi-unit ownership is definitely available. So I'll pass it over to you, and thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Wendy. And thank you to all our presenters. You all did a great job. I think for the most part, our technical issues were few and far between. What I'd like to go ahead and do now, we still have quite a few people on the Zoom meeting. And if there's questions to ask either FranNet or Benetrends or any of the companies that presented, what I'd like you to go ahead and do is enter that into the chat box at the bottom of your screen. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and read that question and field it to the right person to answer that question. So if you want, go ahead and put anything you want into the chat, and we'll kind of go from there. So are there any questions that I can answer right now, or any of the presenters can answer? So I have a question for Lisa. What is the CMIT cost model?
So I want to make sure I understand the question. I'm guessing this is the investment?
Yeah, and there's also another question from Michael. What are the startup costs for CMIT?
Okay, perfect. It's working capital for 6 months, so it's $130,000 to about $175,000. That includes the franchise fee, which would be $49,950 or $54,950, and then that includes 6 months of working capital. So budget for hiring a technician, budget for marketing, and then a $40,000 to $60,000 budget for additional working capital.
And then we have a question from Zen. I am a software developer, and is there any business related to technology? You know, I think on today, you know, FranNet does work with other technology-based concepts. Lisa, do you want to answer anything related to Zen as a software developer?
I mean, yes, Zen, we do have a couple of our franchisees that were software developers that came on board with CMIT, some that actually sold software as well. So, I mean, if you are looking for something, granted, software development would be one component of it that you could do in your professional services, but a lot of this would be infrastructure as well as support and things like that. If you like interacting with people, you like talking to people about their problems and how you can help them solve them through technology, through software development, it could potentially be an opportunity to take a look at for sure.
Wonderful.
And Paige, do you mind if I jump in and I respond to something kind of indirectly to that question as well?
Thank you.
So we've worked with a number of people with engineering backgrounds, software developers and whatnot over the past. And one thing that I have found to be pretty consistent, if that is your professional background, a lot of people with this professional background tend to be very process-oriented, process-driven. They understand systems. They understand how to fine-tune things. The personality test that I mentioned earlier, one of the things it measures is what we call compliance, someone's willingness and ability to comply to a system. And a system might feel to one person very supportive and safe. To another person, it might actually feel like handcuffs, if you will. What we have found in franchising is people with experience in something that is very systematic tend to do really well and find a lot of support in franchise ownership. So if you are open to exploring a business model that is similar to having systems, processes, and procedures, but are not specific to software, I still encourage you to maybe take the assessment and see what types of transferable skills you have. You might be surprised by the options available to you.
Thank you so much, Emily. Our next question goes to John at Exponential. Could someone buy multiple brands if they wanted more businesses?
Yes, the answer is yes. So we do get a lot of multi-unit owners in each brand, but we also have multi-brand owners, which a lot of times gives them great opportunities if that particular brand is sold out in the area, or maybe they have a great relationship with that real estate developer, and there's, you know, great opportunities inside that complex that they're already in. So we are seeing quite a bit of that, and because of territory availability, more and more people are opening up multiple brands. So absolutely.
Wonderful. And then this is a comment from Dan in that using the Benetton ROBS program is a great way to fund an area representative development opportunity. So that's something that you can talk to Wendy about. The next question is for Wendy. What if you are still paying back an existing 401k loan, and can you still do the plan?
Assuming you're terminated from that position, that employer, and you have a termination letter, you can roll the loan with the rollover if your existing provider will allow it. I'd say maybe 60% of them will allow you to just roll the loan, and then we do the same exact loan for you here at Benetrends with the current custodian. If they are not willing to roll the loan, we work with you on figuring out, okay, looking at your resources, you have to pay it back. But as soon as you do the rollover, we'll take the loan out again, so we can make sure that you are not strapping yourself with your liquid cash position.
Wonderful, thank you. Darren had a question. Next step to meet and discuss our personal goals one-on-one with your FranNet associate. You will be sent information after this meeting. You'll be sent a link to the assessment, the personal franchise assessment, which is the best way to determine your personal goals. And then your individual associate, whether it be myself or Roxanne from San Diego or Craig from Los Angeles, will reach out to you and discuss what your personal goals are, discuss the assessment, and set up some time with you to go over everything. So you'll be sent all the contact information after this workshop, and you will be contacted by your local FranNet associate. Next question we have up is from Ray. Do franchisors offer transparent statistics regarding business performance metrics of their existing base? You know, Ray, I'll go ahead and tackle that one. Franchises in general are governed by the Federal Trade Commission. So they are not allowed to give out what we call earnings claims. They can't tell you, Ray, you're going to go ahead and make $200,000 if you buy this franchise. But to answer your question, there are two ways that those questions get answered. First of all, every franchise has to produce a franchise disclosure document, and that is governed by the Federal Trade Commission. And in many of those FDDs is what we call Item 19 or Chapter 19, and that's where the franchisor will produce audited results from either their corporate locations or what their average metrics are. But the most important thing, and what FranNet really encourages, is talking with the owners themselves. And that's something that we will help promote, is how do you talk to the franchisees to find out not only how much it costs to get into the business, when do the businesses expect to break even, and what kind of financial return can you expect. Question for Ken: how does a new owner handle a large project when they may not have the equipment as a startup to their project? Did you get that one, Ken? So I'm not sure if Ken's still with us, so I'm going to jump on to Manish. Is there an overall average ROI in the franchise industry as it is in the real estate industry? And Manish, that's the $10 million question. It's a great question. What I can tell you is that the people that FranNet works with on average are earning between $100,000 and $300,000 a year, and they're looking for a corporate exit strategy. So they're looking for ways through business ownership that they can create a six-figure income and exit their corporate job. So with over 3,000 franchises out there, there's a lot of different ways to do that, a lot of different options. And so one of the things we do is learn what your personal financial goals are, not just what you're capable of investing, but what your return is you're looking for and how quickly. And then we associate the appropriate business to that. And then our last question here before we close out is from Harry. It's for Wendy. My 401k at TD Ameritrade not tied to an employer. I left in January, so okay for the ROBS program. What is Wendy's fee schedule?
And I sent him in the chat box as well. But so a typical transaction, I mean, you're buying a new franchise, you just need the C Corp. There's no additional LLCs or anything like that. Upfront fee is $4,995. It's going to get everything done for you. That includes the setup of the corporation. The monthly record keeping audit protection fees is $145 a month. Please reach out to me. I'll send you the detailed fee schedule to help guide you through that process, but would love the opportunity to work with you, and absolutely those funds are available and eligible for the program.
Wonderful. Well, lots of great questions. I'm sure many of you have a lot more questions that you want answered. And as I mentioned, your local FranNet associate will reach out to you to answer those questions and connect you with the right people. We will send you all a recording of this webinar so that you can review it. You will get a link to the personal franchise assessment if you'd like to fill that out. And then you will get the contact information from your local FranNet office in case you'd like to have a chat over the phone or Zoom and go from there. So again, thank you everyone for attending. I hope this was helpful and informative to you, and we look forward to helping and working with you any way possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Paige. Thanks, everybody.